are in, but who'll knock next at Tampa's door? The Giants are 3-0 since Fossil's postseason guarantee. Can the boys win without Troy? It's do or die in the Sunshine State, where Warner's wrecking crew tries to roll past the Bucs championship dream. And the Dolphins try to sidestep another December drop-off and edge out the Colts.
I got to see this. This farm out here.
Brett's boys hope to flank Dante's kids in this NFC Norris battle. The Jets try to bounce back and cage the Lions. Can Mike Anderson crank it out in Kansas City for 7 in a row? It's all coming your way next on Sunday NFL Countdown.
What's up? What's up?
It's the penultimate Sunday click for the regular season, and here we are, well, like an aircraft carrier, just kind of cruising along with our usual 2 hours right up until kickoff. The only place you get what you need for every game when you get set to watch it. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Berman. With me, as always, my veterans of the playoff hunt. Tom Jackson. Got our shopping done?
Got almost all of it done.
Almost all. That's very good.
That's real close.
Sterling, you got your sharping done?
I don't shop for anyone, Boom.
How did I know? He's the greatest shopper of all time. I forgot. Mortimer, now I know.
Don't ask.
Okay. Stu, you all set?
You actually have to pay for the things you take from the store? I wonder why they follow me.
Oh, boy. Shall we move along with the show here? We're getting deeper and deeper and deeper, are we now? Well, Week 16, we have already closed down a veritable wax museum for football memories, Three River Stadium. Another high, hard message has been delivered to Washington. And we don't mean Al Gore's concession speech. The door has been opened in the AFC West. Here on ESPN tonight, Newt Rockne Fossil's Giants can win the NFC East. Undoubtedly, this week he's convinced them that this is a night game, but it's really a day game. And by the end of Monday night, either the champion Rams or the NFC runner-up Tampa Bay Bucs will be cruising, the other one sweating out just a playoff berth. We'll discuss that game at length later in this show. We start our stadium tour today in the AFC East. Will the Dolphins still lead, but the defending division champ Colts may still have some room to flex their muscles. Always flexing his, Hank Goldberg. Hammer?
How'd you know I spent the morning in the weight room, Boomer? Call this the survivor game for an angry Indianapolis team that has gone from preseason Super Bowl favorite to the edge of the playoff bubble. Lose today, and they're out. For the Dolphins, Jay Fiedler, who will start at quarterback today, summed it up nicely. Win, and we're in.
The Vikings are the NFL's only undefeated team at home. If it can stay that way, it'll mean a trip to the Super Bowl. A win today gives the Vikings home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And just how tough is it to win here at the Metrodome? Well, ask the Packers. They've won here only once since 1992.
Here at frigid Arrowhead Stadium, the Broncos have a chance to take control of the AFC West if they can beat the Chiefs. That puts Denver on the hot seat. In fact, with wind chills expected to be about 10 below zero at kickoff, everybody will be on the hot seat. And right now it's so cold, the hot seats are frozen.
For a change, the Saints get a starter back from injury. Defensive tackle Norman Hand, the most important cog in their run D, will start today against Jamal Anderson and the Falcons. And Stewart, the New Orleans Saints, as they are calling themselves, are poised to make a playoff run for the first time since 1992.
Susie, thanks a lot. The first part of what the Raiders wanted, they got last week in ESPN's Sunday night backyard beatdown of the Jets. Oaktown's first playoff berth since '93. Yesterday, they needed a win to put themselves in position to clinch the AFC West, get a first-round bye, roll through the AFC with home field advantage. One thing Oakland knew, a fourth-quarter lead in Seattle means last year, Raiders led Seahawks 21-9 in the fourth before John Kitna led Seattle back from the Department of Redundancy Department. Fourth quarter, Oakland up, Ricky Waters, 26 carries, $168. Peace, taking it to the house. Pro Bowler Charles Woodson knocks it loose. Raiders recover in the end zone. Refs talk. They're going to say this is not a touchback, but a safety due to momentum. Good call according to the rules. Second time it's happened in the NFL this year. Mort says the competition committee will review this rule in the offseason. Seahawks get the ball back. John Kitna getting his vibe on with Darrell Jackson. Kitna 19 of 30, Bucs 77, 2 touchdowns. Seahawks won a wild one, 27-24. Redskins, Steelers, fourth quarter. Richard Huntley takes the handoff. Danger! Do not hire the Skins to give a tackling clinic. Huntley only 1 touchdown all year. He scored 2 in this game. CNN's Bernie Shaw. Daniel Snyder, can I get an interview? A live shot. Live to tape. We talk about a book. Anything. Steelers won it 24-3. Boom. 5 turnovers. They got carjacked by the Steelers this week, by the Cowboys last week. A combined score 56-16 in those games. Terry Robisky might not get that interim taken off his head coaching label.
Shopping list still open in Washington. New rule coming from the competition committee. And Sean Salisbury looking very Tommy Kramer-like.
John. John.
Hey, and that's all I'm saying on that one. Meanwhile, thank you, Stu. 2 teams looking to close the deal meet at the very wet but suddenly tropic Meadowlands. It's 8-6 Detroit at the 9-5 New York Football Jets, who are trying to shake off their Sunday night Raiders hangover and subsequent jet lag in time to regain their footing in what's been, for them, really a scintillating season, complete with Cinderella fourth quarters. The Jets had won 3 in a row going into last Sunday night, and they face a real simple playoff scenario. They win, and they're in. Division champ or wild card berth, that'll be settled later. As for the Lions, who have won games when you least expect them to, like Week 12 at this very field. Remember when they shocked the Giants 31-21? They're all of a sudden on the outside looking in for the NFC picture for the moment. That 3-game winning streak under Gary Moeller is now a little sudsy at 3-2, and images of sugar plum fairies and late-season collapses are dancing in their heads. Time for both teams to put their best feet forward, something Ron Jaworski does every day. Jaws. What are you, old man in the sea?
Look at this place.
Oh, what are you doing? Hey, didn't your mother tell you to come in out of the rain?
Hey, Boomer, I just want next year, can you give me a studio job? Woo, if the rain is coming down in buckets, the wind is blowing the rain sideways, and it's expected to continue throughout the day, so the elements are definitely a factor in this game. When you look at the football side, you know, Vinny Testaverde's resilience really typifies the Jets. You know, they're a team that is shuddered in the face of prosperity. They do things at their best when it looks the worst, and under Al Grove, they have shown to be very resilient and developed almost a case of amnesia. They forget the negative and remember the positive. And in this matchup, you know one thing, they want to forget last week's spanking at Oakland, and they want to remember they have a shot that if they get a win, they're in the playoffs.
Usually teams that lose like that end of their season, end their season at that time. But like the focus was, we got more games to go, and we still have a chance to get to the dance.
We go back to how it's been for us during the season, the games we've been in, the games we've had, how we've had to rally together, how we've had to gel as a team in order to overcome the obstacles that we've had in certain games, those fights and battles that we had together as a team. What is it for? If we don't, we don't do it when it counts, especially this week is a game that counts for us.
The Jets' running game has been running hot and cold over the past month. 133 yards on 32 rushes Week 12 at Miami. The next week, 32 rushes netted only 59 yards against Chicago. Then they busted out for 211 yards on 39 attempts against Indianapolis. Last week, 20 carries netted a season-low 10 yards against the Raiders. It may be impossible how to figure out when the Jets are at their best running the football, but their coach breaks it down to its simplest form.
When do I feel we're our best? I'm not saying this to be a smart-ass, but when we get them blocked. Yeah.
The running game, I think, definitely all comes down to mentality, because if everybody can block the other guy, it's more than likely with a back like Curtis, we can make some yardage, especially coming down, to these last few games, going into a playoffs, run. If you want to be in the playoff, you're going to have to try to run the ball.
The Jets' running style is that of finesse rather than power. They prefer those angle blocks rather than that straight man-on-man, belly-to-belly base blocking scheme. However, when you pull guys from the offensive line, you frequently miss blocks, and really that results in the inconsistent offense that the Jets have shown. And to be successful today, they're going to have to firm things up on the inside and not get any penetration into the backfield. And Boomer, they're going to have to hold on to the ball. So what the Jets did, they brought out the Super Grip 25 to help them hold on.
Hey, Jaws, we're going to increase your incidental budget here. Hat out, umbrella in. I can make that happen here, okay?
Please do. Do I get a clothing allowance?
Yeah, well, but I tell you what you do. I'm surprised you're not holding that turf. It'd be like soup.
Hey, there's drainage underneath. It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah, I can tell. Have fun. We'll be back to you later.
Right.
Poor Jaws. But, hey, we're seeing that around the league. Ask the Raiders about playing in it. I mean, it's taking its toll. That's what you got to play in it. Tommy, the Jets are having a great season. They still may be having a great season. I mean, what do we think happened on Sunday night?
Well, I think that it was an aberration of sorts. And in talking to Al Groh this week, he was certainly disappointed that his team, for the first time this year, didn't really go out and compete. And I thought that was most evident in the offensive line. You saw the numbers for Curtis Martin. Today, against this Detroit Lions team, they have to go out. First of all, they have to compete. But the way the Lions win, one of the best teams in the league, punt return, kickoff return, conversely, kickoff coverage, they do as good a job as anybody of pinning people inside the 20, the second most hits inside the 20, and then they're #1 in their conference in takeaways. So you can have a little less offense if you do all those things well, create the short field for your football team, the long field for your opposition.
And they may get a break today because the Detroit Lions come in having lost the last 4 games of the season in '98, last 4 games in the season in '99, and that is because their stars, or the guys they pay the most money to, don't show up after Thanksgiving. And Charlie Batch has to be the ringleader of that because he has the football all the time. And it is his red zone turnovers that are killing this team, whether it's taking a sack, as you see right here in the loss to the Dolphins, or whether it's throwing a crucial interception like you saw last week versus the Packers. Charlie Batch is going to have to step up and make plays in that monsoon today. But I think he's also going to have to lean on James Stewart, a guy who does not run well on turf, but should run very well on grass. And if you look at the Detroit Lions, high expectations all out of Washington Redskins, but it looked like, just like the Washington Redskins, they paid the wrong guys.
Well, and big money, you mentioned. They did this with Scott Mitchell when they gave him $6 million a year a few seasons ago. And now Charlie Batch, he gets $30 million over 4 years. And James Stewart, $5 million a year. This is an organization that used to squeeze Barry Sanders for every nickel and dime. It's almost as if they're shopping at Kmart and paying Tiffany prices. And I tell you what, Gary Moeller may have a 3-year contract, but if Batch and Stewart don't have big games, I think, in the next 2 weeks, that may be on hold.
One name for you, Wayne Fonts. They never lost late with Rasputin, did they? Wayne Fonts. Whatever happened to this late Lion run here? You know, we love Wayne Fonts. But you like pitching? Complete games are the best thing. Jets need to throw a complete game.
Tell me that story about Rasputin, could you?
Do you have? Well, we have a 2-hour show.
Don't have time.
We'll be back.
Today on Sunday NFL Countdown. When you run for 1,200 yards in each of your first 5 seasons, you're gonna take a pounding. Just ask Eddie George. How does he prepare for the punishment? 3 weeks ago, Saints fans were asking, who dat? But now they know. Aaron Brooks is the QB leading New Orleans into the playoffs. Only Walter Payton and Barry Sanders have rushed for more yards than Emmitt Smith. What does the future hold for the Cowboys' shining star? And with a win today, the Dolphins can clinch a playoff spot. But will they have Jay Fiedler against the Colts? We're live in Miami next. NFL Countdown is brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
Monday night, the Indianapolis Colts gave us a glimpse of what we saw from them last year when they went 13-3. Although in their 44-20 win over Buffalo, I mean, it was more defense than offense. Now at 8-6 and potentially back in the playoff hunt, the Colts head to 10-4 Miami. Remember last year here? It was one of the best games of the season, 37-34 Colts. Today, it shouldn't be half as high scoring, as the Dolphins' defense is rarely thrown in a clunker. All you need to do is remember Week 13 at Indy. Dolphins D opens the door for an 86-yard drive in the final 3 minutes, led by Damon Heward, playing quarterback for the injured Jay Fiedler, screen to Autry Denson, big play. Then later on, Heward touchdown pass to Aronde Gadsden, 17-14 Dolphins, who were without running back Lamar Smith as well that day. Now, this was the game made it clear to everyone that Miami was for real. And they can continue to prove it with a win today, which would get them into the playoffs. If they do that and the Jets happen to lose, the Dolphins will win the AFC East. Hammer, odds on them doing this back in August were about the same as walking into Joe's Stone Crab on Saturday night, immediately getting a table for 10. Not even you, out of the gym, could accomplish that, could you?
Don't bet against me, Boom.
Yeah, I went on Hammer
I'm
on
the
that
Swamp.
one.
You guys know that, okay?
Got that one.
Every Miami player will tell you that the rallying cry since training camp has been finish strong. When you talk with the Dolphins about the last few seasons, you hear terms like roller coaster, meltdown, and collapse. The emotional temperature of this team under Jimmy Johnson ran hot and ran cold, but Dave Wanstead's philosophy has been to stay positive, win or lose. And the Dolphins have responded with winning streaks after every loss. There's no more nuclear winter in Miami. The outlook, even after tough losses, remains sunny.
sometimes, you know, you can let one loss kind of cloud your mind of where you're at. And at this point in the season, you know, to be sitting where we're at in first place of the division, and you just tell them all the positive things that we did.
Coach Wannstedt certainly leads that attitude. And, you know, he came in and he was as upset as anyone else after last week's loss. But, you know, he does a great job of seeing the big picture and seeing what we really need to focus on.
When you got a good group of guys that will respond to that mentality of, hey, that was great, but we've got to get on to the next one, that really sets the tempo for your entire team.
That even-keeled tempo was evident after last week's loss to Tampa. In the locker room, defensive players were giving pep talks to an offense that had struggled through one of its worst games.
After that game, you know, you can go out and say, okay, Jay Fiedler threw an interception, or Rondé didn't make the catch, or why didn't we give the ball to Lamar, and stuff like that. I mean, but we don't need that. I mean, because we have another week to go out and perform and show people that, you know, we're still a great football team.
We would like to be undefeated, but we knew that we would have some bumps in the road. But it's how we respond afterwards.
Today will resemble an AFC Pro Bowl scrimmage of sorts. 3 offensive stars on the Colts, Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, and Edgerrin James, go against 4 Dolphins standouts on defense: Zach Thomas, Trace Armstrong, Sam Madison, and Brock Marion. Mort, as Darryl Gardner put it, our defense is one of the best, their offense is one of the best. Let's just headbutt and see who comes out on top.
Well, Hammer, and Dave Wannstedt, as you know, challenged his defense this week to win this football game, because Dave knows that this team, this Dolphins team, has no margin for error. Yeah, they've overachieved this year. But listen, Jay Fiedler, did you really think he was going to be the quarterback that would lead them to the playoffs? No, he can't throw 4 interceptions. Fiedler is hurt. Can he move around? If he doesn't move around today, I think the Dolphins struggle.
Well, and I think when you talk about Jay Fiedler, again, we talk aberration. He had not done what he did last week in terms of getting the turnovers. The one thing that has been consistent for them has been their defense, and their #1 priority is to stop Edgerrin James, and it has to be on first down. When you talk about the teams that have done the best in this league, Eddie George, first in the league, but Edgerrin James right behind him, 189 attempts. The rushing yards, 875. You want to see why Minnesota Vikings are so good? You look at Robert Smith and the 1,058 yards on first down. You have to realize there's a big difference when I talk with the Dolphins this week between 2nd and 9, 2nd down, and 8. What it means is that Trace Armstrong, the leading sacker in the league, if it's 2nd down and 8, he's not even on the football field.
That's right.
If it's 2nd and 8, he's on the field. If it's 2nd and short, he's not even on the field.
Well, the thing is, the key to this football game is Miami cannot allow the Indianapolis Colts to play on the short field like they did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And kudos to the Miami Dolphin defense for only giving up 13 points off of 5 turnovers. But if they allow the Colts to play on a short field, the big 3 are going to take over this football game, and they will dominate. Therein lies where the dilemma is, because Terrence Wilkins, who plays the opposite receiver at times and is a special teams standout this year, he is the guy that will create that field position, hopefully, for the Colts. If it's going to be a 28-yard catch right here, like you see right here, or a 30-yard punt return, which he's going to turn in versus the Bills on a Monday night, or it could be some form of a 15-yard punt return right here after a fumble. He goes back, great sense of urgency, picks this ball up, creates that field position for the big 3, because if the big 3 are not allowed to do those things themselves, that means that the 2 tight ends, those guys are going to have to show up. Jerome Pathon are going to have to show up. Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, and Peyton Manning, you know what they're going to do. Someone else is going to have to stand up, and Terrence Wilkins so far looks like that guy.
Kudos, huh?
Kudos.
Kudos. Well, we like a lot of kudos to the Colts last year, who came from nowhere. But, I mean, you got to give kudos to Miami's defense isn't as physical maybe as Tennessee or Baltimore, but they're just as effective. Dave Wannstedt and Jay Fiedler are trying to do something that they haven't done since '94, and that's win the AFC East. You know Marino was the quarterback. Coach Don Shula, kudos would be due to the Dolphins. We'll be back.
Still the Come On Countdown. Indy was supposed to be Team 2000 and a Super Bowl favorite. Now, Peyton and company are on the edge of elimination. What will it take for the Colts to reach the playoffs? And the Ravens' running game has a 1-2 punch. Rookie Jamal Lewis and Priest Holmes have put in extra time off the field, and it's paid off on game day.
He's on the internet all day asking questions. Tom Donahoe with a beat. Our countdown question of the week is not, if you had $252 million, would you buy an hour studio time with Destiny's Child? It is, if you had A-Rod's money, which NFL team would you buy? There are your choices. Write-ins for any LA team not accepted. Log on and vote the results later in the show. We will find out if the Ravens white out the Bears in the NFL record books. With 138 points allowed, Baltimore on pace to break the Bears' 1986 record for stingiest defense. Ravens hold Arizona today and the Jets next week to less than 48 combined points, and the record's theirs. Baltimore in the postseason for the first time ever. That's one mission accomplished. The others they want, that defensive mark and making Jamal Lewis only the 14th rookie ever with 1,300 rushing yards. More on him later in our show. On the flip side of the ball, the Cardinals might not have scored more than 16 points the last 9 games, but Mort, there is a little bit of positive knowledge to be dropped about Arizona, right?
Sure, well, Dave McGinnis, the interim coach, gets the interim label taken off on Monday. Look for the Cardinals to announce that McGinnis has agreed to a 4-year extension. He'll be the head coach.
All right, he's going to have to right a bad ship. The Cards have lost 5 straight, all by double digits, and they've been outscored in those 5 games, 164 to 53.
Ahead on Countdown, the Vikings have won 13 in a row at home. Beat the Pack today, and the NFC road to the Super Bowl goes through Minnesota. And the Saints have been perfect against the NFC West. Can they continue their divisional domination against the Falcons? We're live in the Big Easy next.
Sunday NFL Countdown. The resiliency shown by the New Orleans Saints in recent weeks is akin to somebody staying out late on Bourbon Street on Saturday night, then firing up a Bloody Mary first thing the next morning. A win in St. Louis 3 weeks ago in Aaron Brooks' first start at quarterback, and a last-minute march last Sunday in San Francisco, getting a pair of late calls the Saints historically do not get, to win at the 49ers 31-27. Now, here they are, 9-5, 2 home games left. Christmas Eve against the Rams, and then this little affair today against 3-11 Atlanta, who have had a bye week to think about their 5-game losing streak. Little history here, though. When the Saints won at Atlanta 21-19 in Week 8, I mean, it seemed like a small step for man, but actually it was a giant leap for mankind. The Falcons had beaten the Saints 10 straight times. So in this season of U-turn for Jim Haslett and company, a sweep of the Falcons would be a Bayou blowout. But, Susie Colbert, every week New Orleans plays, I mean, can you top this, it seems, and they keep topping it.
They certainly do, and I want you to know I was not out on Bourbon Street last night, although I did eat at Emeril's. But, Chris, their 6-game turnaround from their 3-13 record last year is already a Saints record and the best in the league this year. And it's possible that for the 3rd time in 5 years, an NFC West team could pull off a worst-to-first finish. Now, for the Saints, though, it's been a painful process, just hammered by injuries, and their success is a testament to their resolve. And last week's 17-point fourth-quarter comeback against the Niners is a perfect symbol for the season, to keep fighting when no one else gave them a chance.
We've been talking about it with some of the guys, and it's the New Orleans Saints, you know. It's a new atmosphere, it's a new attitude, it's a new swagger coming into this locker room, and so guys are prepared.
We said this back in minicamp that we were going to go through 3 stages this year. One was learning how to win, the other was dealing with adversity, and the last one was dealing with success.
We've won the games that we're supposed to win. Scratching, clawing, and fighting, we've won them, you know. And the games we shouldn't have won, you know, we've won those too.
What they've lost is 7 starters for extended periods of time, beginning back in training camp. Among the missing, they're starting tight end, linebacker, wide receiver, running back, quarterback, defensive tackle, and last week, starting cornerback Fred Weary.
There's nothing that has given us hope, you know. I mean, we've lost everybody, yet we've still managed to continue on.
Something goes wrong, you overcome it, it's just football. Line up and play again, and I think that's the #1 thing our team has had to deal with.
To say that it would happen this fast and the way that's happened has been kind of crazy. A lot of guys going down, a lot of adversity, but that's been the mark of this team. If something negative happens, we make a positive out of it. So we're just trying to continue on that track.
Now, the biggest positive today is the Saints get defensive tackle Norman Hand back. You can't say enough about how much he means to their run D. The 2 games that he missed were the only 2 games this season that the Saints gave up more than 5 yards a carry. More news on the defensive line. Defensive end Joe Johnson will not start. He missed a team meeting. He told me a little while ago that he overslept and he understands you do the crime, you have to do the time. Willie Whitehead will start in his spot. But we'll wrap this up on a positive note. Ricky Williams has been running. He's told me a little while ago that he knows he's not in the greatest shape, but he will see action next week. How much depends on the playoff position that they're in. And more, he told me he understands that in the playoffs, it's a whole different tempo, so he wants to get some reps in.
Well, Susie, I can tell you, I was at their practice Friday, and Ricky Williams was running with their scout team, so he has already been out there. And it's interesting because the Saints kind of are looking at the big picture. You wonder whether it's good or bad. Are they looking ahead? Are they looking past the Falcons? They were talking about Ricky Williams coming back next week and what that means. They were talking about the chance to still gain home field advantage in the NFC if things fall right. And not only that, but they were running a portion of their practice plays this week for preparation for the Falcons?
No.
No, St. Louis Rams next week.
Well, the thing is what I like is they got a great playoff character builder last week, winning at San Francisco. And yes, they got great play from their outstanding quarterback, Aaron Brooks. We'll talk about him a little bit later. And yes, they got back to defensive turnovers. They got 2 from the quarterback position. But please don't minimize the running of Terry Allen. 19 carries, 80 yards. And I think that in itself put the Saints back in a huge position to go to the Super Bowl and get through those playoffs because they are running the football. Yes, Aaron Brooks ran for over 100 yards, but the running of Terry Allen, and it was kind of minimized by Jim Haslett early on, losing Ricky Williams and what that meant. What that meant was it puts a lot more pressure on the quarterback position, but now with Terry Allen running, I think the Saints look very, very good to make a playoff
Just
run.
think about it. 2 years ago, Falcons, Saints. Now, Saints, Falcons.
Now, then we got to get 49ers, or Rams, 49ers.
No, we're working on
We're working on
that.
that.
We're
Okay.
working on that one. Obviously, the NFC West used to be the sole domain of the San Francisco 49ers. Well, until the Falcons rose in 1998, the Niners had won this division 10 times in 12 years from 1986 to 1997. One of the biggest reasons why? Jerry Rice, who not only owns 14 NFL receiving records and countless others for the playoffs and Super Bowl, he has so obliterated the field that everybody who was second on all these lists that he's on is in another area code. Today, when the 5-9 49ers host the 4-10 Chicago Bears, it appears as if this will be the final home game at Candlestick for the incomparable number 80. After being awfully quiet, I mean, much of this year, boy, this has picked up steam like a locomotive, with Bill Walsh giving every signal that Jerry's playing days will be over. As a 49er, Jerry still seems to have that fire, and today there's no question that he and the fans will have plenty of emotion.
I really don't know how I'm going to react when I take that football field, when I go to the stadium. But, you know, I have had so many great memories, and I have played with so many great players. So at least I can hold on to that. I can cherish that.
If you just looked at JR's home games, these are just home game stats, right? 117 of them regular season. Amazing. He would rank with just home games 18th in catches, 19th in yards, and 5th in receiving touchdowns, just if he played at home. Hard to believe it could be down to 60 minutes at the stick. Change the system. There's got to be a way, if both sides want it, to keep guys like Jerry Rice retiring with the team they came in with. We'll be back.
Later on Countdown, Aaron Brooks wasn't among the cream of the 1999 QB crop, but the Saints quarterback is rising to the top since taking over for an injured Jeff Blake. And while the Jags aren't playoff bound, it hasn't stopped Fred Taylor from rushing into the record books.
Give an XR this holiday season, and Honda will give you a gift too. $100 to spend on anything at the dealership.
I'm grateful that Michael Garcia is in our lives.
State Farm, Mike Garcia speaking.
We had a house fire, house burned.
That was a tough day.
They didn't treat us as a policyholder, they treated us as a neighbor, as a friend.
I gave him a check right away. We went from there to putting the pieces back together.
He's not a hero in the sense of a sports hero or a movie star. He's a quiet hero.
He looks out for everyone in the neighborhood.
It's gone from being a slogan to really being my way of life.
This holiday season, I wish for peace on Earth.
I wish for fog lights and some seat covers.
Pep Boys has over 75 different tool sets, like this one, only $9.99. And gift certificates too. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
Academy Award winners Tom Hanks and Robert Zemeckis reunite for the first time since Forrest Gump.
I would rather take my chance out there on the ocean than to stay here and die.
Castaway, rated PG-13. Friday only in theaters.
ESPN Classic Roadshow is live from Denver for Classic Mile High Stadium. Join special guest John Elway and say farewell with the greatest games in Mile High history. Get ready for the final game at Mile High Stadium with the ESPN Classic Roadshow. Classic Mile High Stadium, live, starts Friday at 9, only on ESPN Classic. Presented by TiVo and brought to you locally by AT&T Broadband. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
We're all one family, one team, a football team. Driving down Soldier Field with,
1:13 left on the clock.
1 minute, 13 seconds left on the clock. And
no timeouts left.
No timeouts left because the coach has stupidly used them all up.
Football fans can find anything they need at Chicago's Electra Electronics, provided they have Visa. Because if you try to use American Express...
And we score!
You don't have a prayer.
Yeah!
Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
We about to roll up deep inside the numbers. Strong finishes are a fat indicator as to which teams play on in the postseason. Right now, the two hottest teams in the league are the Broncos and the Ravens. Both of them have already clinched playoff berths. Both the G-Men and the Bucks can join the postseason party with W's this week. Tell you what, though, you won't find the Jaguars in the playoffs this season. Despite their current 4-game winning streak in which they've outscored the opposition by nearly 100 points, Jacksonville won't be in the postseason for the first time since their debut in 1995. But one bright spot in the Jags' disappointing season has been the off-the-charts play of Fred Taylor. Last week marked the 8th consecutive game in which Taylor ran for at least 100 yards. With one more 100-yard game, he will tie the late, great Walter Payton for 3rd on the all-time list. Jags balling exactly like they expected to ball this time of year. They've won 5 of the last 6, 4 in a row, averaging 35.5 points those last 4. Only one minute overlooked detail prevents them from booking possible reservations to Tampa. That 2-6 start. Out of contention still, Jacksonville jumping with the Cincy team first in the NFL in rushing, dead last in passing. So don't expect an aerial attack today. Only 3 guys have more rushing yards in the Bengals' Corey Dillon. Only 3 guys with more than 100 carries, average more per than the Jags' Fred Taylor.
Still to come on countdown. The Rams take the league's best offense into the new sombrero for a rematch of the '99 NFC title game against the Bucs. Can Tampa's D shut down St. Louis and a healthy Marshall Faulk? And there's no love lost between the Broncos and the Chiefs. Denver has won 6 in a row and is streaking into the playoffs. And KC, well, they're headed in the other direction. We're live at Arrowhead for this bitter AFC West rivalry next.
West has been an impressive 2-team post pattern between the Oakland Raiders and the Denver Broncos. But now that the Raiders were waterlogged in Seattle, the door is swung open for the Broncos, who've won 6 in a row and a 10-4. Know if they win twice more, they'll win the division in a tiebreaker since they beat Oakland twice. But not so fast, Tom. As the Raiders found out, winning division games on the road in December, even if you should, it's hard to do. Broncos are at 6-8. Kansas City, whose once promising season has disintegrated with a 5-game losing streak just snapped last week. But when they were good, they beat Denver. Back in Week 4, 23-22, Gus Frerotte had gone 4-0 lately in relief of Brian Griese, but he lost that game at home. And as good as Mike Shanahan has been against the Raiders, and really just about against everybody, he's 0-3 against Gunther Cunningham. But Ed Werder, maybe the Broncos are going so well that they brought mile-high weather with them to Arrowhead just in case, huh?
Well, Chris, it's too bad that they aren't playing the Dolphins. The Dolphins brought the Miami weather here. But Mike Shanahan's such a master psychologist, he'll probably have his guys believing they're spending the day in South Beach. If Shanahan nearly lost his team last year, he's clearly regained it. Running back Mike Anderson has emerged so that nobody frets about the continued absence of Terrell Davis. And while he's about to miss his 5th straight game with a separated shoulder, Brian Griese's clearly developed into one of the game's best young quarterbacks. It's far different than the team that last year unraveled after the quarterback controversy that followed John Elway's retirement. Then the team couldn't overcome injuries to Davis and Shannon Sharp. These Broncos just keep winning.
I think we learned from our mistakes last year and confronted them head on this year.
I don't think we had the same leadership qualities that we have this year, as far as guys stepping up and, you know, seeing a rookie slacking off and getting on his case and letting them know that, you know, that's not our level here.
Was there ever a point where you personally felt we can't overcome this?
Not really, because I felt we had the confidence and we were gaining that swagger back that we had when we were winning some Super Bowls. And we just needed the guys, the younger guys, to step up and the backups to step up and understand it's not going to be all on you. It's not going to be on you, Mike Anderson, to win every game, or Gus Frerotte to win every game.
You look at Gus coming in. I mean, Mike brought him in to, quote-unquote, battle for the starting position, but if he didn't get it, then you have a good backup. You know, and then you look at the running back situation. I mean, wow.
Is it the system, the quality of coaching, the caliber of the backup players?
I think it's all those factors put into one. You know, Mike doesn't allow you to slack off. If somebody goes down, he wants the same level of productivity coming from backups.
It just really says a lot about, to me, our assistant coaches are dealing with these guys on a day-to-day basis, preparing these guys, and then it says a lot about the character of our team.
Well, the current weather conditions, it's 5 degrees. The field is very hard. There is no wind. As far as the hard field, that leads to problems selecting just the right footwear. There are no heating coils under the surface like there is at Mile High Stadium. And Chiefs equipment manager Mike Davidson told me an interesting thing. He said the Chiefs players are all spraying their hands and feet with antiperspirant to keep the moisture off the skin, because that becomes very painful, of course, when it freezes. So, Tommy, I'll go back to consulting my wind chill chart here, secure in the knowledge that you, too, used your antiperspirant properly this morning.
Yeah, I always wanted my hands and feet to smell really good when I was getting ready to play a game of football. But I think when you look at the keys for the Broncos today, especially with the weather conditions as they are, most important that Mike Anderson and this offensive line take charge of the game. They're the #2 running team in football right now. And when you look at the Chiefs, who used to be a great run defense, and this always goes together statistically, you quit running the ball, you quit being able to defend the run. This is one of the worst teams in the league in terms of run defense. So all about Mike Anderson, not about Gus Frerotte trying to put it up in this weather.
Yeah, TJ, we almost forgot about the Broncos, but here they are. They're getting ready to go to the playoffs. And when you survey that potential playoff field, the Broncos are the one team that can go and score points week in, week out. The other teams, you're not sure. They will score 30 points. Yeah, the Raiders, they have the Raiders number. But I know in talking to Mike Shanahan this week, Mike Shanahan said, look, our defense is good enough. They've got 40 takeaways. That leads the NFL. And Chris says, you know, I talked to BT, too, and BT says they can go.
Well, you know, I talked to Billy Thompson. I talked to, I talked to Jack Thompson. I talked to Ouija Thompson, Bobby Thompson hit a big home run. You know, and you know what he said? Gus Frerotte, we score over 30 points all the time. Yeah. So what's the problem? Yeah. So he get all excited out in Denver. And you know what? Maybe Brian Griese even back next week.
Yes, he certainly, they hope he will be able to get some work next week.
And it could be division champ Broncos. Yes. Could be. And Terrell Davis doesn't look as good, but the Broncos keep rolling. No matter they plug in, and you heard Mike say it, it's a compliment to the coaches and the system that they're doing. What a difference a year makes. We'll be back.
Ahead on Countdown, Denver's Rod Smith is headed to Hawaii as one of the AFC's leading receivers. But he's traveled a rocky road and battled his inner demons to get there. And the Vikings are all about the O. But how far can they go in the playoffs if the D doesn't step it up? We're live in the Metrodome next.
You players blow it off and say outside opinion doesn't matter. What does matter is what they saw in last week's game film. And that 508 yards they gave up leaves them with something to prove today.
It was a little embarrassing, especially from a secondary standpoint. You know, we just didn't do anything well enough.
Anytime you get, I won't say get embarrassed, anytime you lose a game like that and you didn't come to play. So I think, to me personally, you know, that was like a dagger in my heart.
We want to go out in the last couple of games and make a major statement. You know, last few games we've been giving up a lot of yards. Against Green Bay and Indianapolis, two great quarterbacks. We'll have an opportunity to go out and really compete and prepare ourselves for the playoffs.
You're going to see a different Viking defense this week, no doubt. And if you don't, then we have a problem.
The biggest difference will be the return of linebacker Dwayne Rudd, who missed the last 2 games with a shoulder injury. Rudd's presence fuels his teammates' aggressiveness, and his speed changes their whole approach, often eliminating the need to put their nickel package and another young defensive back on the field.
It's just like having another defensive back with more weight and more power, more punch. And so, you know, schematically, we can just do so much. I mean, it's just, he just opens up our playbook that much more.
When I'm on the field, I provide help in that area where I can, you know, compete with one of your best receivers, being your tight end or your running back out of the backfield, and allow the safeties to, you know, roam around and to get some picks and as well support the run.
Help is on the horizon. Viking safety Orlando Thomas, who missed the last 6 games with an injured shoulder. He practiced this week. He'll be inactive today, but hopes to play next week. And cornerback Robert Tate, who injured his knee last week, he practiced this week and will play today. And the Vikings are in desperate need of a playmaker in the secondary. And Sterling, what's interesting is Packers safety Darren Sharper has 8 interceptions this year. That's one more than the entire Minnesota defense.
And Sean, that is going to pay big dividends because Brett Favre and that game plan are going to look just like the Rams last week, and that is going to be keyed by the running of Ahman Green because he has had an outstanding year running the football for Green Bay. 60 yards from 1,000 when this team was basically waiting on Dorsey Levens, a guy that runs a little bit like Marshall Faulk. He's got outstanding speed, great quickness through the hole. His vision is very well right now. And the thing is when you look at Ahman Green, he looks sort of like Marshall Faulk. So that game plan that the Rams implemented last week to get a victory, the Green Bay Packers might use as well.
Yeah, and you start talking about those skilled people, whether it's Ahman Green or Brett Favre or Antonio Freeman. I think it goes right to these 2 rookie tackles, Tauscher and Chad Clifton. They will have to do their job in a very hostile environment. The crowd noise probably will make Brett Favre go to a single snap count or a silent count. They do their job. I think the Green Bay Packers have a chance to be very successful.
I don't know, but this is not Favre's place. He just doesn't play well, and that's a good thing for the Vikings because if we know anything about the Vikings, in order to go to the Super Bowl, they must have home field advantage. Look at what they've done on the road. They've lost 3 out of their last 4 games on the road. And if the Vikings do not secure this game today, they finish on the road at Indianapolis, they could blow this home field advantage, and I think all their Super Bowl hopes are tied to this.
Hey, and Sterling, you know this. Green Bay has gone into Minnesota with much better teams than they have right now and lost games under the most bizarre circumstances. Favre's 1-7 in there. Doug Peterson. McMahon to Eric Gulliford at the end. I mean, I remember Green Bay's going to have a hell of an effort if they're going to win in there today.
Still the come on countdown. Preseason expectations were high, but now Indy's on the ropes. The Colts face elimination against the Dolphins. How will they respond to the challenge? The Saints are marching into the playoffs on the legs and arm of Aaron Brooks. But just who is this guy? After 11 seasons, 3 Super Bowls, and a place in the record books, Emmitt Smith is still the Cowboys' workhorse. But will he be the lone star left standing in Dallas? And the Titans have a steady game plan of Eddie right, Eddie left, and Eddie up the middle. How does he take that kind of pounding? The secret is next.
Sleeping bag for his...
England. For more in-depth analysis on this potential storminess across the Northeast, we're going to...
Doesn't want to get high. Brown caught by Owen. He's got it at the 15. Makes a break. Makes another. Cuts to his left. Into the end zone. Touchdown 49ers. Stay tuned, baby.
just as enthusiastic as this crew here aboard this supercarrier as we welcome you back to the Mediterranean in day 2 of our broadcast of Fox NFL Sunday. We are proud to be aboard the supercarrier named after our 33rd president, the Harry S. Truman, the newest and most advanced nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. And hello again, everyone. I'm James Brown, and welcome aboard. Pleased to be joined, as always, by my high-ranking officers, Chris Collinsworth, Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw. Big boy, this has to be a thrill for you.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you really can't put into words what it means to be on this battleship and this aircraft carrier. See the battleship flanking us behind. You sleep so well in our great country, and I certainly will be sleeping a lot better
How'd
after
you
meeting
sleep last
these men.
night, bunking up
Not
with Terry?
real good.
Huh?
He scared me to death. He come crawling in my bunk like, because he said a mouse ran across him. Unbelievable.
The bonding has really taken place. All right, folks, time now to set the playoff picture for you. In the AFC, the Raiders' loss means they are still on top of the West, but if Denver wins out, they'll win the division. Miami still leads the East and Tennessee the Central. Now just one spot remains in the wild card race. Baltimore and Denver are in, and as we just told you, Denver has a real shot at winning the West. And a Jets win puts them into the playoffs. The NFC wildcard picture is becoming a lot clearer. The Eagles are in and still could win the East. Tampa Bay and St. Louis, who play tomorrow night in Tampa, have the next 2 spots. The NFC division leaders are the Giants, who clinch a playoff spot tonight with a win against the Dallas Cowboys. New Orleans leads the West. And Minnesota can clinch home field throughout the playoffs by beating the Packers today. That game begins our Fox Watch, and calling the game is Kenny Albert. Hello, Kenny.
Good afternoon, JB. Not only can the Vikings clinch home field, but the Green Bay Packers are still alive in the NFC playoff race. But it will be a tough task for them today. Vikings, the only undefeated team at home in the NFL, 7-0 this year, 13 straight overall. Defensively for Minnesota, 2 starters missed last week's loss to the Rams. Linebacker
Carolina, so he has no chance. He recovers and steps out in the same
Petrodome with Brett Favre at quarterback. That was in 1997. Now we send you to the Meadowlands and Sam Rosen.
Tough weather conditions here at the Meadowlands. Lots of rain and high winds. Extra pegs needed to hold down the tent over the barbecue.
Today, and right now we're going on site, presented by Miller Lite, where our Daryl Johnston is at Arrowhead Stadium with all the latest. Moose.
Welcome to Arrowhead Stadium, where it is bitterly cold. Minus 15-degree wind chills expected throughout the course of the day. As you look at the standings, you'll see the Denver Broncos now control their playoff destiny in their race for the AFC West title. They'll have to do this without Brian Griese and Terrell Davis again, but their replacements have done an outstanding job. Gus Frerotte, 4-1. Mike Anderson, 3rd in the NFL in rushing. For the Kansas City Chiefs, Elvis Grbac continues to progress through a torn tendon on his index finger on his throwing hand. We'll see how that affects him today, along with the weather. Now off to Mark May in Cleveland.
We're at Cleveland Browns Stadium, where the Cleveland Browns host the Tennessee Titans. The weather, what do you expect? It's December in Cleveland. It's cold, it's windy, it's snowy. For the Cleveland Browns, they've used 6 different players at the quarterback position. 2 of those players have been wide receivers. In order to contend with the Tennessee Titans today, they will have to go into their bag of tricks. For the Tennessee Titans, they send an AFC high 8 players to the Pro Bowl this season. It's simple for the Tennessee Titans. All you have to do is win your final 2 games, you're the #1 seed in the AFC, and you're home for the playoffs. And now let's go over to Tim Brando in Cincinnati.
Memories of the '82 Freezer Bowl, the playoff game with the Chargers, are abound in Cincinnati today as the Jaguars play in the coldest game in franchise history. They do have a tarp here at Paul Brown Field, but they chose not to bring it out yesterday. There were 3 inches of rain, then overnight it froze, and then the snow began to fall. Earlier this morning, the grounds crew tried in vain to blow off this field, which has already been a major story this week, then ultimately just decided to paint the orange stripes so we'll have some idea what the boundaries will be. So what do the running backs do today? 2 outstanding ones, Corey Dillon and Fred Taylor of Jacksonville. Well, they're going to wear some taller cleats. They'll begin with 5/8 of an inch cleats, then 3/4 of an inch cleats, and then the last case scenario, 1-inch cleats. They don't want to do that because of the possible risk of injury. That's the story from Cincinnati to Charlotte and Charles Mann.
With hail on the ground and temperatures in the 30s and dropping for game time, San Diego Chargers Mike Riley gets a warm reception from his boss, Dean Spanos, who made it official. Riley will be back coaching for the Chargers in the 2001 season. On the other side of the ball, George Seifert wants to take a look at his backup quarterback, Jeff Lewis. Steve Berline will start, but Lewis will see time in the second quarter. Also, Tim Biakamatuka will return to the starting lineup after being out 4 weeks with a turf toe injury. That's the story from here. Now let's send it to Buffalo and Gus Johnson.
And the New England Patriots, and it's a perfect day for football in Buffalo. Cold, windy, snowy, wind chill at 10. You know, injuries have affected everybody this season. That includes the coaches. Check this out. Bill Belichick checked into the hospital this week. He was suffering from flu-like symptoms, had to receive an IV, but it got even worse for Wade Phillips. He was feeding his dog this week. His dog bit him on the finger. He'll be wrapped up on the sideline, and it's even better than that. Guess what his dog's name is? Coach. So Coach bit the coach. Now let's go back to our coach, Jim Nantz in New York.
All right. All right, thank you, guys. Boy, weather everywhere around the country, it seems. This is a doubleheader day on CBS.
The Air Department of the USS Harry S. Truman, they'll tell us what's on tap for today's show.
Welcome, I'm Commander Brian Scott. We are the Air Department of USS Harry S. Truman.
Attention on deck. Fox NFL Sunday is taking over the USS Harry S. Truman.
Chris Collinsworth was one of the fastest receivers in the NFL. But now he finds out about real speed. He breaks the sound barrier in an F-14 Tomcat.
I think, wow.
And not all the tough guys are in the Navy. Some of them still play football. Our tough guy, Howie Long, salutes this year's group of the NFL's toughest. And Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders perform before the Truman. All that plus landlubbers Jimmy and Jillian. Coming up. Coming at you on the one and only Fox NFL Sunday.
They burst down. He says that's really been the emphasis of his defensive team, and it's really the emphasis in this game against the Indianapolis Colts. Trace Armstrong told us that, look, what we do is we stop the run with our 7 guys up front, we go a cover 2 back on the back, and we have our corners be more physical than normal with guys like Marvin Harrison. Don't let them get off the line, disrupt the timing, and you get into Peyton Manning's head a little bit, and that really disrupts the offense.
All right, guys, we've looked at the AFC. Meanwhile, over in the NFC, here's the playoff scenario. Assuming the season ended today, Vikings and Eagles have clinched playoff spots, and Minnesota can earn the NFC Central title with a win or a Tampa Bay loss tomorrow night. If the Vikings win, by the way, they'll lock up a first-round bye and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Giants need a victory to qualify for the playoffs. They can also back in with losses by Detroit or New Orleans or Tampa Bay. A Giants win will also give them the NFC East crown. New Orleans is in the postseason with a win and a loss by either Detroit, St. Louis, or Tampa Bay. They can't afford a tie in that Monday night game. Saints would win the NFC West with a victory and a St. Louis loss. Finally, whoever wins that Monday night encounter, St. Louis and Tampa Bay, well, is assured of a playoff spot. Playoff spot on the line tomorrow night. Now, the game this evening is the Giants visiting the Cowboys, and with Troy Aikman and Randall Cunningham injured, Anthony Wright will start at quarterback for the Cowboys. And, Jerry, I know right now you're high on the Giants, and probably especially so with a young quarterback at the helm for the Cowboys.
Well, not a whole lot of people know Anthony Wright. Good quarterback out of South Carolina, has a good strong arm, but the Giants' defense is built to stop Dallas. They can take the 2-back run. They can stuff that. They can take the backs and the tight ends in the passing game. They don't have to cover wide receivers. This is made for the Giants to win. But before you say anything,
I'm getting ready to get you.
Did you hear Wade Phillips, you say, got bit by his own dog? Absolutely. You've had a bad coaching year when your own dog bites you.
How do you know Anthony Wright?
Is the dog all right?
The dog's going to live.
He's probably got disease. How do you know that Anthony Wright's got a strong arm? The guy's only thrown 5 passes.
In South Carolina, he was 1-10.
It's different. This is the National Football League. Hey, let me tell you, this will be the first game where you're going to have 10 in a box. It's going to be like a rugby match out there. The New York Giants trying to stop Emmitt Smith running the football. It's going to be up to the Cowboys offensive line to push him around, because Anthony Wright, we know for a fact, has not thrown a lot of footballs in the National Football League, and that's a big challenge for the Cowboys. I'm not saying the Cowboys win, but watch out for this game.
A little warning. We'll let you pick that game a little later on. A reminder, at the conclusion of this game, you can go to all the games today. That is, CBS Sports Line will have all the information, the locker room interviews, updated conference standings, playoff pictures, all updated. NFL at cbs.sportsline.com. AOL keyword, of course, is CBS Sports Line. Here's what's on the show. Next up, Jill Arrington talks to Brett Favre about his contract situation and his latest, and she'll have also the latest on today's big Green Bay, Minnesota NFC Central Division matchup. Plus, Leslie Visser reports on a unique friendship shared by a trio of Ravens in the aftermath of the Ray Lewis trial. Marcus Allen looks at the Jets' turbulent season as they buckle up for a final playoff run. And you'll get an earful when we pump up the volume on a pumped-up Bill Romanowski.
Your quarterback's trying to lose it for you. Put in the other guy.
The NFL Today.
The rest of the crew bores the life out of our boys overseas. And joining me now are my colleagues, Terry, Howie, and Chris. Terry. Well, Terry, how are you doing today? I tell you, I'm still looking at that there weather gal. Boy, oh boy, I like that.
Easy, monkey boy.
Whoa,
Oh,
she
man.
look as juicy as a big old watermelon lying in the sunshine of the porch of my mama's mobile home.
Now, hold on. Jillian looks good, but nowhere near as good as me.
Okay.
I'm really handsome. Right, Chris?
Well, Terry likes Jillian. Terry do like her. Come over here, sweet cheeks. Give Daddy a big old kiss.
Back at
Terry, leave the human alone. Jillian, run.
I'm running, Jimmy.
All right, I gave you the Steelers yesterday. That worked out. Plus, I was 3-1 last week. Unfortunately, though, the loss came at the expense of my upset streak, which now ends at 5. But what do? I mean, you lick your wounds and you move on. Terry, how many times have the Fox lawyers told you not to lick me? He's an animal. All right. This week, I will take the Vikings over Green Bay. Brett Favre, the Niners to bounce back on the Bears. The Giants to rain on the Dallas Parade. And my upset pick, it's a tough week, but the Chiefs beating Denver should put me right back on track. Let me recap. Vikings, Niners, Giants, and Chiefs. You and me gonna get married. What is going on? Terry, Howie, cut that out. I always knew there was something between those two. Who says we don't take football seriously on this show?
Come on, baby.
I'm Jimmy Kimmel. Those are my picks. Now back to the ship.
Terry, you're so very.
We'll have a meeting after the show.
Unbelievable. Jimmy Kimmel in the studio 4 weeks after your threat to him to come into the studio.
Because he's a coward. He would never be there when I'm there to take him apart.
He's gutless. He's heartless. He could play for Washington.
Oh,
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
my gosh.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, 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 gobble. All right, folks.
You're not funny.
Let me tell you that we are indeed thrilled to be accompanied on this trip by the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, who incidentally will be...
I am 3 tools in 1. I can solve.
Dwellers first. We've got a 5-way tie at the bottom, if you will. Arizona, we've got some news on them coming up shortly. Atlanta, Cincinnati, Cleveland, San Diego. Here's the top 10, and your humble host has no part in those top 2. Hold on a minute. Not so fast here, my friend. You got what, Baltimore 2, Tennessee 1. I thought you might bump the Ravens up to 1. You had the Raiders 1 yesterday. All right, so that's the IBM poll. We welcome you back to the NFL Today. And one of our top 5 teams, Minnesota, squares off against division rival Green Bay today. And our Jill Arrington is standing by live with the latest from the Twin Cities. Welcome there, Jill. How are you?
Thanks, Jim. You know, besides just the game, there's a lot of talk about the future of Green Bay's quarterback. A 7-year contract extension for Brett Favre worth up to $100 million and a $20 million signing bonus. Ironically, it's good for both player and the team because of salary cap issues. I talked to Brett Favre about it yesterday, a lifetime Packer contract.
There's been a lot of talk this week about contract, much more than myself and my agent and the Packers have talked about. We haven't signed a deal. We haven't even come close, I wouldn't think. I've made a lot of money. I feel fortunate to be in this business as long as I have, to play at a high level like I have. It's that I enjoy playing, and I couldn't imagine myself playing with another team.
But today, Brett's not worried about the contract. He's worried about this must-win game. The Packers have to win out to have any chance of getting to the playoffs, plus some outside help. But they've lost the last 7 of 8 here in the Metrodome. They don't have a lot of luck on turf or in domes, much less the loudest in the NFL. Now, if the Vikings win, they clinch the division title and home field advantage, which is significant because they're 7-0 at home. The only 3 games they've lost this year have been on the road. So there's a lot of significance and importance in this game.
It's the greatest rivalry, I think, in the National Football League.
It's been getting pretty heated. You know, it's pretty nasty, and I think that's what our fans like. I think that's what their fans like it.
It makes it more interesting when Green Bay is fighting for a playoff spot, and, you know, we're fighting for home field advantage.
They got one up on us, you know, last game when we felt, you know, we made a lot of mistakes, but we still played good enough to win the game.
Favre, pop flies the right side. Freeman trying to adjust to it, and it's incomplete. Nearly intercepted by Chris Dishman.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute. Freeman picked it up. It bounced into his hands. He takes it in the end zone.
We win.
Touchdown. Packers win.
You guys had a miraculous finish to beat the Vikings last time. Is there any carryover for this game?
There'll never be another catch like that, at least not while we're around. And he won't make another one like that. I hope he doesn't have to.
It's going to be an easy game to be up for. It's going to be an easy game to stay focused on, and it should be an exciting game for everybody.
It's going to be the way they've always been. Every time we've played Green Bay here or up there, it's been a battle for 60 minutes and sometimes more.
The Vikings lost last week to the Rams, exposed a little problem with their pass defense, and I think that Favre and Freeman will look to get set and connect early and often to get this crowd out of the game. Back to you, Jim.
All right, thank you, Jill. Craig and Jerry say Minnesota close, close, close. The other 3 on the desk, big for Minnesota. Tomorrow night, also NFC action. St. Louis, Tampa Bay, playoff spot awaits the winner. And yesterday on the NFL Today, Rams quarterback Kurt Warner spoke about how important this rematch of last season's NFC title game will be. Said it'll be a playoff game. It really is, Randy.
Well, last time most people in this country saw the St. Louis Rams, they were absolutely destroying the Minnesota Vikings on that fast track. Well, last time they played the Tampa Bay Bucks in the NFC Championship game on that fast track, Kurt Warner had 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Marshall Faulk couldn't run the ball. It was a tight, close game. Now they're outdoors on that grass. I love that Tampa Bay defense, Craig.
You know,
it's hard not to.
You know, but looking at this deal, I think it's a perception right now. The Rams are battling in that they can't play outside on grass. They've got 3 losses on turf, 2 of them on turf.
It's a bad defense to play against to find out.
And yesterday we talked about it with Kurt Warner. I think Kurt's got to really make good decisions. He can't force the ball. He's got to really take what the defense has given him. Now, he said he didn't think he was really gambling that much and that he could make the big plays when he does, but he's got to be disciplined or he's in trouble.
It's a big one. Again, tomorrow night, St. Louis at Tampa Bay. Coming up, our coaches, Mike Ditka, Jerry Glanville, reflect on some of their sideline peers who are feeling the pressure of an unproductive season when the NFL Today continues from New York in a moment.
Best fighter pilots in the world.
Once we get the rest of the flight gear fitted, we're going to send you out to the airplane to show you around the cockpit, because there are a few things you're going to have to actually do for me back there while we're flying. Ready room consensus yesterday when we were asking what we were going to call him was Pencil Neck.
Oh, man, I can't escape that name no matter what. You talked to Bradshaw yesterday. When I retired, I didn't think I'd ever have this feeling again. At least when I played in the Super Bowl or whatever, I had played football before. Never done anything anywhere close to this one.
We get up here, we'll take a left turn back out to the east. Might come over the top of the ship and come around and land. Roger that.
Yeah, I heard Howie was going to take that flight, but heard they had trouble finding a helmet that was big enough for that bucket head.
Yeah, I heard they wanted Terry Bradshaw to do it, but he was too scared.
Really? I heard he was too ugly. To get out there, and for the first time, we're just cruising along, and all of a sudden, okay, we're going to bank left. I'm thinking bank left. No problem. I got bank left. The amount of pressure that is on your body could not move. It was amazing. Hello, Admiral.
I see that big smile.
Oh,
that's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Isn't that a real treat?
I think James Brown was supposed to take this flight.
Well, there's a weight limit, you know.
Back to flying, baby.
Watch me! Watch me! I got it. Watch me! I got it.
What did you think?
I think, wow. I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about.
Go again. I'm ready right now. I could have spent all day up there.
Right, come up with a new call sign. So no longer pencil neck.
Now we're talking. I was waiting.
I got a move that tells me what to do. Sometimes it's easy.
One of the great experiences of my life, and my pilot right here, Will Cooney, Coon Dog, was the man responsible for trying to make me sick. Tell the truth. You were trying to get me to gag, weren't you?
I tried everything I could to get you to blow chow, as they say, and we couldn't do it.
That was all they wanted to know. When I left the Admiral's office upstairs, came downstairs, and I said, so now I started talking a little trash, right? I'm like, is that all there is to it? That was a piece of cake, man. This is nothing. Coon Dog then gets me in there and says, oh, really? Takes off this aircraft carrier, boom, straight up in the air, gets to the top, lays it backwards, starts spinning towards the water. I said, that's enough, I've had enough.
Hey, Coon Dog, can I ask you a question? Why would you want him to hurl in your jet? You obviously don't clean it up, right?
Well, they asked me to see if I can get him, make him sick, and I tried. I figured,
Separate cockpits is the answer to that one. I wasn't with him.
Unless it's power production,
But thank you very much. One of the great experiences of my life. Guys, the Swordsman, thank you so much.
These guys rule.
Will Cooney, did you give him a handle? Did he have a name at all?
Well, of course we did.
What was his name?
We came up with Pencil Neck.
Thank you very much. That's all I wanted to hear.
Well, that's a fighter's name
That's
for
a
you.
fighter's name. Thank you very much, Chris and Will Cooney. All right, folks. Now you've gotten just a glimpse at what the takeoff and landing of an F-14 Tomcat involves. But supporting that activity is what can best be described as a ballet, a well-orchestrated ballet performed by some very talented men and women.
The last 2 weeks, Norv Turner should be the coach of the year. He went 7-6 with this bunch that looks pitiful the last 2 weeks under Terry Robisky.
Well, we know who's not the executive of the year. Dan Snyder's not the executive of the year. He made some of the most bonehead moves that could be made. This is not a good football team. This is a football team that is very, very played uninspired football yesterday. Watch his tackling. That's deplorable.
And last week against Dallas.
Well, I can tell you the two happiest guys I know in National Football, Norv Turner and Brad Johnson, they said, hey.
Vindicated.
It's your team.
Can you explain something to me? Last week at the end of the Tennessee Titans game, Al Del Greco was brought in a non-pressure situation on a kneel-down play.
He's supposed to be a safety in that in case there's a fumble. I don't understand. I think Coach Fisher has been sleeping in the office too long. He needs to go home, get in bed, and say to his lovely wife, I love you and I've missed you. These type of plays come up about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Get over it, Al. You got to be used to pressure. You can't play in the league.
How would you have your kicker handle
what I do with my kicker was great. On the last kick in pregame warm-up, he always tried a 54-yarder. So whenever I sent him in, he'd say, geez, this is kind of close. It's not that far away. I wouldn't put him in as a safety. With a body like that, he can't even run.
But he can play golf.
I didn't know that. You would know that.
And he
I
ain't a
don't know
bad
that.
kicker either. He
I don't want
won the game against Philadelphia with a 50-yarder. All right, coming up later, Leslie Visser has the story of 2 Baltimore Raven veterans who took teammate Ray Lewis under their wings.
Also ahead, it's been a season of comebacks and letdowns for the Jets. Marcus Allen takes a closer look at New York's turbulent team. Plus, Bill Romanowski as you've never seen or heard him before.
Better go out of bounds. Yeah, you better, baby, 'cause I'm coming.
The NFL Today is sponsored by South.
Definitely not for your parents. Over 200 dirty words. Heavy Metal 2000 rocks.
This month on Direct Ticket Pay-Per-View on Direct TV.
NFL Sunday Ticket is brought to you in part by Super 8, all the room you want.
30 minutes to kick off. Week 16, and the NFL today is in Kansas City, where the Chiefs host Gus Frerotte and the playoff-bound Broncos. The Broncos have won 6 in a row and controlled their own destiny in the AFC West after the Raiders lost yesterday. And the NFL today is in Cleveland, where the Browns conclude their season by hosting Tennessee. And Titans quarterback Steve McNair was limited in practice this week, but will start despite a series of nagging knee and ankle injuries. On to Cincinnati, more poor weather there. The wind chill, in fact, 30 below 0 as the Bengals host the resurgent Jaguars on the frozen tundra there in Cincinnati. And there's Corey Dillon. He's a Pro Bowl starter, and he provided the Bengals this year with a rare bright spot, a pair of 200-yard rushing games, and also that record-breaking 278-yard rushing performance against Denver. Here we are now in AFC East matchup. The Patriots and the Bills, both disappointed in their seasons. They'll battle it out in Buffalo. Rob Johnson starts for the Bills despite a sore elbow and shoulder problems. And the NFL today is in Carolina, where the Chargers find themselves lured into Charlotte's web. Panthers quarterback Steve Berline, there he is. He makes his 43rd consecutive start, but he's not expected to play the whole game. He'll be likely replaced in the second quarter so the team can evaluate his young backup, Jeff Lewis. Welcome, everybody, back to the NFL today. Now, across the Hudson River, the New York Jets host the Detroit Lions, and Gang Green is coming off a crushing defeat in Oakland last Sunday night, and part of their wild up-and-down season for the Jets. But a win today puts the Jets and, ironically, their crosstown rivals, the Giants, into the playoffs. That's if the Jets win today. Marcus Allen joins us now from the Meadowlands with more on the Jets. And Marcus, first up, congratulations on entering the College Football Hall of Fame this week.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. I had a lot of fun, and I was certainly honored going with my colleague Dan Dierdorf, who talked my ear off the entire ceremony. And speaking of talking, I sat down with Vinny and the Jets to find out why they've been so up and down, and to find out also how they're going to respond to that blowout in Oakland last week.
We don't lose another game. We win every single game together as one. Family on three. 1, 2, 3.
And the Jets got to do some rethinking. Now they're going to be 9-5 at the end of the night.
We went to this game knowing what was on the line. You know, before the game, knowing how Miami lost and knowing how Pittsburgh lost, you know, we could have been the head of the division.
Phase 1, the judgment.
I think it speaks to the way our season has been going. It's been that up and down, but I think the one thing that has been consistent is the mentality of this team.
Our mental toughness is among the best in the league, I believe. We feel like we can overcome difficult situations, which we have this year.
Into the end zone, touchdown! And the Jets are going to win it in stunning come-from-behind fashion.
In the first half of the season, you guys have made a name for yourselves, winning in the last 2 minutes. And now you're down to 2 games.
Right. It's our last, yeah, it's our fourth quarter of the season for sure.
Phase 2. It takes the physical to create the physical.
When we lost 3 straight, you know, it's kind of hard to dig out of a hole when you start losing. And the thing is, we dug out that hole. We won 3 straight.
Have you guys targeted why you guys have been so up and down?
I've tried to dog in the cycle hotline.
We just haven't gotten it done. I don't know the reason. There's no excuses. We just haven't gotten it done. We have to play better.
The thing of now is just win one and we're in the playoff, you know. And the thing is, it's just getting in, you know. And if we get in, I think we're gonna stir some things up.
Phase 3. Who dares to believe in me?
Nobody has given us a chance all year long. Starting with the off-season changes that we've had with Coach Parcells stepping down as our head coach, nobody's given us a chance. And what's important is that the guys on this team have stayed together through everything. And now it's come down to this.
Vinny, you seem to be licking your chops for this game Sunday.
Well, I'm excited about this week. I think mostly because I want to forget about last week. In the same breath, if we do get in the playoffs with a win this week, we may have another opportunity to play the Oakland Raiders in that same environment, and hopefully we can make things different. We can make things right.
Well, 2 words to describe the weather out here is ugly and getting uglier, and that's why the running game should take center stage. Regarding the quarterback injuries, Vinny Testaverde's groin is wrapped, and he should be fine. Charlie Batch's ribs have been bothered for quite some time, but I talked to quarterback Jim Zorn, and he said that it's the best week of practice he's had in a long, long time. So one more interesting note, guys. The Detroit Lions have not won an outdoor game in the month of December since 1996, so this weather does not bode well for them for their first victory. Back to you in studio.
Yeah, it's a good nugget. Thank you, Marcus. You can expect some big-time rain there. It's raining here in the city. What about the Jets here?
Well, I tell you, Jim, I think Al Grove's done a great job. I think this team does overachieve, but that's not bad. I think they're a tough team. I think they're going to fight their way into the playoff. And once they get there, it's a crapshoot.
Folks, I want to take it back to a game. Super Bowl 18, Marcus Allen and the Raiders against the Redskins. A great back, has a big game, and the game his team needs him. Curtis Martin will have that type of game today for the Jets. He has been ready all week long. His teammates have said it's just like before this game here against Indianapolis. He ran for 203 that week. He's going to run wild today.
Big game for Martin. Okay, we'll look for that. Now, the latest renewal of that AFC West rivalry, the Broncos and the Chiefs, will take place today at Arrowhead. And this past Tuesday, Denver's middle linebacker Bill Romanowski pled not guilty to a series of drug charges, and a trial date was set for this coming May. Romo, of course, is no stranger to controversy, as you may recall from his NFL Today interview with Armin Katayan earlier this season. Now we have the unique opportunity to show you Romo at full speed and max volume as he took on the Seahawks last week.
Feels good today. Feels good today. We can't be beat. We play our game. They will not score against us. Let's kick their ass. Offense, defense, special teams, baby. Broncos on 3. 1, 2, 3, Broncos. Over 7, China. 5, Tiger. Bomb. China, switch it. Hey.
Hits always sound harder on a cold day. And they feel tougher. That baby rocks all the way down to the marrow.
Better go out of bounds. Yeah, you better, babe, 'cause I'm coming. We just do our job. We'll dominate these guys. We'll kill them. We'll blow them out of the stadium.
Seattle starts from the 20. Kitna to throw. Intercepted. It's Al Wilson, the linebacker, and Wilson is out of bounds at the 7-yard line. Couldn't quite stay in.
Nice, baby, nice. Hey, a few more of those, we'll rip their heart out.
2nd and 5 with the Waters in motion, and Kitna intercepted. This could go all the way. It's Jimmy Spencer. Spencer cruises to the touchdown.
Oh, yeah, baby. Woo! A few more series, Ricky's going to be at his O-line. You're getting hit today, Ricky. You're getting hit, baby. They ain't blocking for you, Rick. They ain't blocking for you. Oh, yeah. They ain't blocking for you, Rick. Get on him. Get on him. Get on him, Ricky. We need to bring some heat on this guy. Oh, you're lucky. You better get a new quarterback in. He's awful. You guys would be all right if you had a quarterback. Your quarterback's trying to lose it for you. Put in the other guy.
Romanowski is in really pretty good position. He's only about a step behind, but a perfect strike from John Kitna.
Hey, happy birthday! Hey, happy birthday, guys. Happy birthday. Got the victory. Got the win.
Romanowski wired, so to speak.
He's been
happy
accused
birthday to you, by the way, too.
Yeah, he's been accused of that, you know.
No, what about Denver Broncos today?
Yeah, you know one thing about the Denver Broncos, this is a football team that's built around its offensive line. Mike Shanahan's had a hard time playing against Kansas City. The Broncos can't beat the Chiefs. Chiefs done got them once. This is all about the offensive line in Denver. They must find a way to go out and lead this team to victory, and I gave you an extra couple seconds.
Thank you, brother. I want to talk about the other side of the ball. Gus Frerotte. Gus Frerotte, you're going to see his quick feet flying around, and he better have them because the Kansas City coaching staff said, blitz, blitz, blitz. Gus Ferrotte's free to win this thing.
Listen, you still got the belts. Time for I Bet You Didn't Know. And checking last week's results, Jerry won again, 4-1.
That guy's not ready to play, and then I'll use that to fire me up.
Brian Urlacher is only a rookie and already being compared to the great Dick Butkus. Who coaches these guys? If anyone doesn't perform on defense, just suit up Jim Haslett. And to this team's offensive guru, I sent my special correspondent to find out one thing.
He sent me down here
so that you could teach me the tough guy, John Gruden look on the sidelines.
You got to jump in the saddle with the Oakland Raiders. You just got to feel it, feel it, feel it.
And in this corner, at running back, number 47, Tyrone Wheatley.
It's like a heavyweight fight. I know I'm going to take a shot. And when I have a chance to, can you accept that shot? Time in and time out.
Marshall Faulk had knee surgery and was scoring TDs 2 weeks later. While these two Titans bring their A game every Sunday.
He has a mindset that he wants to annihilate the defender.
You see 2-7 coming, and you see him trying to duck or take bad angles. So I think that's when you see a time that we're breaking a team. You know, we line up and we're coming right at him, right at him.
Are you kidding me? Emmitt Smith has rushed for his 10th straight 1,000-yard season. That tight end, can you imagine? Ken Dilger can catch and block. And Freddie Jones knows what the perfect tough guy play is.
Perfect play, I would probably run over about 3, 4, 8 people, take it the distance, pass the ball to my offensive lineman, let them spike it.
Special teams just rolls off your tongue, doesn't it?
The first couple steps just...
I think Tim Twiceman hit too much.
I mean, I feel like I'm locked on to the Tomahawk missiles coming at me. I want that, and that's something that I thrive off of.
Tim Brown has racked up 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Just across the bay, try to find a tougher matchup in the league than Terrell Owens.
It doesn't matter who's in front of me. It's me and him. It's my move against his move, his reaction against my reaction. Make the best man win.
If it's 3rd and long, look no further than Chris Carter and Ed McCaffrey for a first. But most likely will get you 6. These two safeties know just what it means to be on this team.
What the tough guy brings is that he's willing to do whatever the next guy won't do.
You stick somebody really good, knock them backwards, you really relish the times when you can knock somebody out.
At the corner spot, look no further than Charles Woodson and Champ Bailey. And John Lynch is as tough as they come, like father, like son.
What Jay always says, if you want to play with the big boys, we've got to take care of our work at the training table. We've got to clean that plate.
Jake, you see, we really give him a good shot early. You see the green on Barney? That's where we're going to hit him, right between the numbers, right there. Can you show me those muscles?
This rookie, Greg Wesley, flexes his muscles for the Chiefs every Sunday. So there you have it. Those are the tough guys that hold together my team for the year 2000. And on January 7th, before the NFC Divisional Playoff game, I'll be naming the toughest player in the NFL, and that player will be receiving a Ford F-350 4-door pickup truck. But I'll tell you, after spending time aboard the USS Harry S. Truman, I've come to realize that it's the men and women of this ship who are indeed the toughest. And joining me now is Strike Fighter Captain Joe Killer Kilkenny and the captain of the USS Harry S. Truman, Captain David L. Logsdon. And I want to make a presentation on behalf of Fox Sports to the toughest men and women that this country has to offer, to you, Captain, and to you, Captain Kilkenny, the Bulldog, symbolizing the tough guy team. Thanks for having us, Captain.
Howie, thanks for coming aboard Harry S. Truman. I think it was appropriate that we have the side number 75.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that.
And just great having you here and showcasing USS Harry S. Truman.
Thanks a lot.
Howie, thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, folks, coming up, a final word from the Mediterranean. But first, here's a look at the people who set this ship in the right direction. As Howie mentioned, the talented men and women who work on the bridge of the Harry S. Truman.
The bridge is where we position the ship from, where we operate, steer, navigate the ship.
Inverdeck, right 30 degrees throttle.
Don't rock the boat, baby, don't rock the boat. Don't push the boat, rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby, rock the boat.
People who drive the ship, and you saw that small steering wheel, they're teenagers. They're 19, 18, some in their early 20s.
Come left steer course, 025 degrees aye, sir.
The people who actually do the plotting of the navigation on the charts are very junior. It's really exciting. They have a 97,000-ton ship that they're driving through the ocean at 30 knots.
Cardinals matchup in one of our spots since the franchise relocated from Cleveland 5 years ago. Leslie Visser's here with us now. Story about the Ravens.
Hi, Jim. Well, Ray Lewis will not talk about the day of the murders, but he did, for the first time, talk about how his life has changed. The NFL. They are three different personalities: Rod Woodson, Shannon Sharpe, and Ray Lewis. Yet they've come together.
Talk about easy basket.
Magic.
What a smile he has. He's one of the symbols of this game, just the look on his face. 60-57 the West. They have lost 6.
All of us have our own ways. Rod is more quiet, subtle. Shannon is the talker, and I'm like in between.
We got to communicate and think mentally.
You have not adopted any of Shannon's unusual habits, have you?
No.
Do you shave your legs?
I've always done that.
Oh, you do?
I've done that since college.
You shower before the game?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you do that?
I don't want to go out there smelly.
Well, doesn't Ray think you're peculiar?
I am. I am.
One time I saw in Shannon's refrigerator, he actually had the eggs lined up perfectly.
Well, you know what they said about people that are real neat? They're little.
I need you right now. Huh?
Do you think that you'll know Shannon Sharpe and Rod Woodson your whole life?
Yeah. Easily.
These three teammates forged a unique relationship in the aftermath of Lewis's trial. For Lewis, the factors in his life became football and friendship. Is football kind of a harbor for you?
That's what my passion is. When I'm on the field, that's what I do. Very comfortable at that, so that can easily be my home.
Everybody got to know that there's somebody beside you that's depending on you.
Someone at the stature that you and Rod are, I mean, you're both potentially likely Hall of Famers, you didn't have to embrace a guy 10 years younger who'd had troubles.
It just seemed the right thing to do when everybody else was willing to walk out on the guy and say what a bad person he was and what a terrible mistake he was. I don't really think a whole lot of people was willing to embrace Ray.
What made you want to testify for him as a character witness?
He's a friend. I mean, friends are there day in and day out, you know, and you know, that's as we speak in the locker room, that's my boy, and you know, I don't think I could have turned my back on him like that.
What did it mean to you when Rod testified for you?
I was about in tears because, you know, you're looking at a guy that you go to war with, but then forget the football part of it. I was going to war for my life, and he was willing to do anything it takes. That's when you know. That's when you know a person has your heart, inside and out. He happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. He put himself in a situation that he's very sorry of. 2 people died very tragically, very brutally. He's sorry about that. Families are still grieving, but there's nothing he can do. They found that he didn't have anything to do with it, and I think we should just leave it alone.
How have you changed since your experience?
You know, I think I'm more careful watching who I'm around, watching the people that I'm around, watching the people that's even around me. You know, trying to find out their intentions, you know.
What do you think the national perception of you is, and what would you like it to be?
I think if people knew me, they would know my heart. My passion is on the field. But when I'm off the field, I'm the most loving guy I think people can ever be around. I appreciate life in general every day. I'm blessed just to be here.
Lewis, who never had an older brother or father presence in his life, says that Woodson and Sharpe won't lie to him. They insist on discipline. In fact, Jim, Shannon Sharpe told Ray Lewis, discipline is how you act when no one else is watching.
You asked him about perception, and let's face it, the public and even a lot of people around the league have mixed feelings about Ray Lewis. I mean, one year you can plead guilty to obstruction of justice in connection with a murder investigation at the Super Bowl, and the next year he could be playing at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. People do have mixed feelings, but the league has fined him $250,000. He's on probation for another 6 months, and ultimately he was cleared by the legal system.
All right, as far as his play this year goes, what's the buzz around the league about Ray Lewis?
Oh, I think a lot of people, if they don't vote for Warren Sapp, they might vote for him for Defensive Player of the Year. Having a great year.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Leslie. The NFL Today continues in just a moment as Tennessee's Pro Bowl running back Eddie George limbers up in Cleveland. George ran all over the Browns and scored 3 touchdowns in their earlier encounter.
Is presented by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl.
trying to clear the field in Cleveland. Foul weather at 5 sites in these early games. But what about Denver, Kansas City, Jerry?
I think Kansas City has lost that home field advantage. I'm going with Denver for a big one.
Not against Denver, though. Denver has a hard time with the Chiefs at their place or at Arrowhead.
And the NFL fans win right now because all AFC teams are out there playing hard, looking for the best seed they can get.
I'll bet you one thing, Romanowski's not talking as much today as he did last week.
He never shuts up. I guarantee you that.
For those of you scheduled to see only a 4 o'clock game, we'll be back in just a moment. But for most of you, it is game time on the NFL Today. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you back here at halftime with updates along the way as well. Scores and highlights on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Enjoy the games on CBS.